and may those who love him be like the rising of the sun in its light. Then the land had peace for 40 years.
A lot of linguists and historians believe that this is the oldest piece of writing in the Bible. And, obviously we know that Moses wrote the Torah, and Moses lived before Deborah. So the Torah represents an older writing. Job is another one that's really old, but Job represents an oral tradition that's older than just about everything else in the Bible that was then written down sometime during the era of the kings. Some of the stuff that makes them believe that this is one of the oldest examples of literature in the Bible is the language is very obscure. I mean, poetry by nature is difficult to translate because they always using unusual word choices, and the word order is different from normal speech. So it just doesn't follow the pattern of normal speech. So you can't use the same normal rules for translating it. And this is the most difficult poetry in the Bible to translate. And if you read 5 different translations of it, you will get 5 radically different English versions. Because some of the phrases are way different. There's a part in here that talks about the archers. The bows of the archers are singing together. Well, another one is talking about the musicians, and another one is talking about shouting. It's all the same verse. They just translate it in different ways because nobody knows what it means. But remember how I said that when you look at the tabernacle, it's a picture of lots of different things. The tabernacle is a picture of God, and it's a picture of creation and the garden and of a person, of a family. Well, it's also a picture of the people of God, the nation. And you can look at all the different components of it and see how they fit together in mystical symbolism in the numbers, and come up with all kinds of things about how the tabernacle represents the people of God. But one of the clearest things that points to that is when God told Moses what he was going to build, and he said, now take collections from everybody among the people who has a willing heart. And everybody brought their stuff. Gold, silver, bronze, cloth, whatever they had, everybody brought it. And these were the spoils that they took out of Egypt. And it was just like what Paul says, God loves a cheerful giver. So he doesn't want people coming with bitterness and resentment. It's like, I don't want to give this to you, God. I work for this. No, this is the stuff that God gave you. He put it under your authority and wants you to use it for his purposes. And he loves it when his people bring his stuff back to him. And especially when they bring it back to building his kingdom. And that's what all these people coming together to build the tabernacle represents. I mean, they're not just building a place where God's tangible, visible presence will be among the people. They're building a model of God's kingdom. Everybody coming together, doing their own thing. And so here in Judges 5, Deborah is describing a very similar thing. She's talking about all the people who came with a willing heart to fight for the people of Israel, to fight for the kingdom. And they weren't much of a kingdom at the time. I mean, for one thing, they didn't really recognize that God was their king. They didn't treat him like he was. They were more of a confederacy where people just showed up to do their job when they felt like it, which is really kind of what God wanted anyways. He wanted the people who wanted to contribute to come and contribute, and the people who didn't want to contribute, stay home. He doesn't want your help. And Deborah is describing this in this passage. That tribe over there, why did y'all just stay home? In this tribe over here, they gave everything. And then she talks about Barak and how, Barak wasn't really excited about this whole thing and didn't have a lot of confidence in himself, didn't believe he was hearing from God. So he went to Deborah and said, I'll go and fight this battle, but you got to come with me because I trust your connection with God more than mine. And so she did. And he warned him that, the glory is going to be taken by a woman. He probably thought she meant her, but she meant Yael. But once Barak took that first step, everybody respected Barak. He would have been the judge of Israel if he had had the courage and the trust in God to actually act when God called him. But all the people looked up to him. So when he acted, the people followed suit. And then Deborah kind of gives a backhanded compliment to the nobility. She says, all you noblemen riding around on your white donkeys and in luxury, thank you for showing up. She's saying, you lived your life of ease, but when it really counted, you did show up. So good job. These are all the people of Israel coming together and doing what had to be done. And even though a lot of them stayed home and didn't contribute, the job got done. And the same thing happened with the tabernacle, where so many people brought stuff that Moses had to say, okay, enough, everybody else stay home. It's just seeing how this is kind of a model for how God's kingdom is supposed to work even now. The people who are willing and want to contribute should. And the people who don't want to contribute, they're welcome to hang around and benefit from the kingdom, but they shouldn't contribute because they're just going to create a problem. But it takes everybody. I mean, it's not one person. It's not Barak. It's not Deborah. It's not one tribe. It's everybody coming together to do their part. Everybody has a role. If you are willing to contribute, God has something for you to do. And it's going to become part of his tabernacle, his kingdom.